With rising costs on everything, daycare is very expensive.
Yep.
We pay $725 a month for it, and that's the lowest we've found in this area. What can we do about lowering the cost of daycare? Hayden, obviously a working family, and it's very hard for working families to get by. How will we lower the cost of daycare?
It's such an important question, Charlie. I think one of the things that we can do is make it easier for family models to choose, or for families to choose whatever model they want, right? So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more, or maybe there's an aunt or uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare.
This man said, let them figure it out all on their own. They don't need us. They don't need the government help. Let them figure it out. JD, do you want to know where my mama is when I'm working? She's at work because she's not at retirement age, nor can she afford to retire. She's working herself into her elderly years. And then your expectation is when she finally does retire to full-time take care of my children? How does that make sense? And for free? No, she will probably have to go get a retirement job so that she could afford to be retired. A lot of people have parents who are either dead or in very poor health because our healthcare system is a mess and they cannot afford health insurance. They cannot afford their treatments. They cannot afford their medication. They are in no position to be taking care of our children. And respectfully, they raise their kids. They work their careers. And now you want them to spend their retirement full-time taking care of their grandchildren? How is that fair to them?
Now, you talk about just daycare. Let's say you don't have somebody who can provide that extra set of hands. What we've got to do is actually empower people to get trained in the skills that they need for the 21st century. We've got a lot of people who love kids, who would love to take care of kids, but they can't, either because they don't have access to the education that they need, or maybe more importantly, because the state government says you're not allowed to take care of children unless you have some ridiculous certification that has nothing to do with taking care of kids. So empower people to get the skills they need. Don't force every early child care specialist to go and get a 6-year college degree where they've got a whole lot of debt and Americans are much poorer because they're paying out the wazoo for daycare. Empower working families, empower people who want to do these things for a living, and that's what...
Oh, but the man has a plan. Because if your parents are still working, dead or in too poor of health to take care of your children, let's just lower the standard for childcare workers. Tell me he knows nothing about childcare in this country without telling me. And let me tell you, I can't speak for every state, but I can speak for my state. I worked at a childcare facility. And I did it when I was in high school. So that means the qualification wasn't even a high school diploma. And I'm in minimum wage. And then when I graduated high school for a little bit of college, I continued to work at that daycare. My only certification was the 2-hour training that the daycare required me to do through them and my CPR first aid certification. That's it. What can we take away from childcare workers? They are minimum wage and they do not have a college education. Where in the world are you finding childcare workers who have a 6-year degree? Please tell me. Because in my experience and in the daycare settings that my kids have gone to, that is not a requirement. This man gave zero solution for our overpriced childcare in this country.